Enzo. Well, thousands of Virginians could soon face losing their homes after the federal moratorium on eviction ends this Saturday. And the Biden administration announcing today that it will not extend it.
But the good news here, Makia, is that there is help on the way. A huge pot of rental assistance money still available for people struggling because of the pandemic.
On your side, investigator Kelly Avellino showing you exactly how to get to it.
There are hundreds of millions of dollars still up for grabs in the Virginia Rent Relief Program, enough to keep the majority of Virginians from being evicted through the end of the year, according to housing advocates. But the biggest hurdle so far is that not everybody knows about this money. And because of that, some people are literally getting put out on the street. Beginning in 2020, new federal and state protections made it harder to evict people impacted by COVID, whether they lost their job or suffered other pandemic-related losses like medical expenses. But come this July 31st, several of those safeguards will end, including the CDC's order that let tenants give a signed declaration to their landlord stating that they couldn't make rent because of COVID.
Statewide, evictions have been trending upward noticeably since the end of June.
Victoria Harick is a housing attorney with the Legal Aid Justice Center. She tells me as multiple eviction protections have ended over the past few weeks, more tenants are ending up in court.
Since some tenants are still covered by the CDC moratorium, we expect to see a much bigger increase sometime in August.
A U.S. Census survey from this past June reports that 62% of Virginia renters responded that they were in danger of being evicted in the next 2 months. Thankfully, there's help that a majority of people will qualify for if they've been financially hit by the pandemic. The Virginia Rent Relief Program has about $700 million still available, according to housing advocates. But since landlords are no longer required to apply for that funding on behalf of their tenants first, before trying to evict them, it's up to you to apply.
Unfortunately, some people are still getting picked out.
Marty Wegbright with the Central Virginia Legal Aid Society says you'll need several documents along with your application. You can find a link through www.stayhomevirginia.com or just Google up Virginia Rent Relief Program. You'll need a copy of your lease, income documentation, a list or ledger showing your missed rent payments, a state W-9 tax form that you'll likely have to get from your landlord, and a signed statement by both you and your landlord agreeing to participate in the program. Wegbright also says that landlords must legally accept the rent relief money.
No tenant in Virginia should be evicted for non-payment of rent until that last dollar has been spent.
The Virginia Rent Relief Program has paid out more than $311 million to over 48,000 households so far. If you're in trouble, don't wait. Apply for that help now. Don't wait for that notice from your landlord. Now, we've got much more information and links under this story on NBC12.com and our news app. For the On Your Side investigators, I'm Kelly Avellino.
Thank you, Kelly. So, what happens if your landlord serves you a pay or quit notice? Always respond. That's rule 1, or the eviction process will go forward regardless. If the landlord has 5 or more units, they must offer you a payment plan or wait 14 days before filing an eviction in court. If you do end up in front of a judge, you can ask to have the case postponed for an automatic 60 days.